What we're going to talk about today is leaders and leadership. Different styles, different way, but first we want to know, what is a leader? What's a leader?
A guide.
Guide. Okay. What else? Anyone else?
Someone who knows. They're the expert. In order to be a leader, you have to be the expert because you have to know all of the roles of the people that you're leading. You have to know them really well so that then you can actually help guide whoever is doing a certain job or role.
Okay.
So you have to be really
Okay.
an expert.
I would say somebody who is able to empower others to lead themselves.
That's a particular, yeah?
Someone
Okay.
who's taking into consideration the total goals and people, the whole thing, sort of the good of all.
Right, there's going to be, okay, so there are different kinds of leaders, and you're going to go with a leader, as you said, has to lead, so the leader has to know where he's going, he or she is leading, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that's a piece, and then, so that's a big piece, and then what? Be able to take them with you, they want, right? And so the people who join the leader have to what? Follow. They have to want what the leader wants. They have to want what the leader wants. And more importantly, they have to know what the leader wants. They have to know what the goal of the leader. Well, I thought. So there has to be, and Bobby used to always say, everybody gets the teacher, the guru that they deserve. So if you want somebody who's going to be playing with you, you're going to get someone who plays with you. If you really want something, you're going to get something. You have to know where, first off, the person has to know where they're going. Right? Then the leader, they have to discern that the leader actually knows where they're going. And does that mean that the leader just says, I know where I'm going, follow me? No. They have to demonstrate, correct? That they know where they're going.
Yeah, you have to prove yourself.
Right. Okay? So then, what does the leader do for the group? Or the people? Or the person? What's the leader going to do?
Teaches, shows the way.
Shows the way so that then everybody becomes what? Who follows the leader. They get to the goal. Everybody gets to the goal. Correct? Everybody goes to the goal. Does only the leader get to the goal?
No.
How many people have been with people that only the leader gets to the goal? Why? Why'd you do that? You understand? You want to get to the goal also. A good leader is going to, as you were saying, empower. A good leader is going to, you're apprenticing, you're following, and so if there's a master, a leader, hopefully is a master, then the follower is what? An apprentice.
And a disciple.
A disciple.
Discipline.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And learns our discipline.
Yes. And so that the leader should be, in fact, communicating the what it is that you want to have to be going. So I have the secret and you need to follow me, but I ain't telling you. You gonna go for that? Some of you.
Yeah,
Some of you.
People do
Yeah,
all
go
the
for it.
People do that all the time. All the time. I have a secret I have the secret, but you can do this over here. I'm only teaching you this part of it. Holding up, holding up. One of the things in the scriptures that Kashmir Shaivism, what Baba taught, was that you show the highest teaching first to a person. That's what you do. You show the highest teaching first. If they can do it, that's great. If they can't, then you move them down. Okay, let's do the second level. Okay, we'll study this, you work with that, we're going to do these scripts. If they can't do that, you move them back to the first level. Okay, so you're going to listen to chants, you're going to chant a little bit. This is in terms of this expertise. You're going to meditate 10 minutes, you're going to try to put your attention into the center of your chest, because is the heart in the center of the chest? No. But for a beginner, that's what they're going to think. Okay? So you do that, but not until you've first shown them the highest. Because why? So everybody that says, the person who says, I've got the secret, they should have told you what the secret was. If you weren't going to learn it, if you weren't going to figure it out, but they don't, most of those folks don't have the secret. Now, how many people have gone after people who had Shakti, charismatic leaders? And what happens with them?
Sometimes they disappoint.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What's their interest? Do they have techniques and tools and how they got there and what you're supposed to do? Most of them will go, it's all about the Shakti. It's all about the energy. It's all about this. And I've got it. That's that kind of a leader. Then what has to happen? You don't have that energy. I have it. So what are you going to have to do?
Be around that person.
You're going to have to be around me. You got to be around me. You got to adore me. You got to pay. So
Money.
give me money. Show me the money. So you have to be focused on
You.
me. Right. And did anyone see the movie Bedazzled?
Yeah.
The original one. And the original one where Dudley Moore's character asks Peter Cook's character, who's Satan, why, the devil, why did you, what happened? Why'd you fall? And so he showed Dudley Moore that he's sitting on top of a hydrant in the street, and he said, this is God, and Dudley told Dudley Moore to walk around and say, oh my God, you're wonderful. Oh my God, you're fabulous. Oh my God, you're wonderful. And then Dudley Moore says, well, can we switch now? And the devil said, that's what I said. So there is no chance in that kind of leadership of just adore me, adore me, adore me. There's no change. There's not going to be that we end up all equal. There is no equal in that kind of a leadership. So a lot of these groups, New Age, all that kind of leadership is about center of attention. Now, how many people think that a leader is just the person who's the center of attention?
Most people.
Most people. So the one who has the loudest mouth is the leader? There's some yeses in here.
I mean,
What does it mean? Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that usually the person with the loudest mouth, I mean, I'm just thinking about even just like the workplace, those are the people that you just kind of tune out. They're the most annoying, they don't know anything, and you kind of pick your battles when you speak up and say, like, you know, literally be quiet or shut up. Or you just kind of ignore them because it's not even worth the effort to acknowledge them because they're so beside the point.
Mhm. Okay? That's great if you're there. How many people go for the loudest voice? A lot of people do. A lot of people do. A lot of people go for that loudest voice. A lot of people go for their idea of center of attention. That if the person can command center of attention, then they're a leader. Do they necessarily have anything to offer?
No.
Does anybody even question that they have anything to offer? No, it's just that they're the center of attention. So then everything goes toward them, and then they're just the leader. And then what happens to the rest of you? Or the rest of us? What happens to the person that's then following them?
Get used.
Yeah. And all that you're doing is keeping them. Remember, I wrote that aphorism, it is the job of inferior people to keep superior people in their place. You're just feeding that center of attention person. Now, if you yell at that center of attention person, what do they think?
They're still the center of attention.
They're still the center of attention. They're still the leader. They still the leader? In their mind, they're still the leader.
Or they may feel you're a threat and
Yes, they may feel you're a threat, and therefore they're going to do something and maybe nix you.
Yeah.
But in their world, they're still considering themselves as the center of attention, the leader. The leader. If their idea of leadership is center of attention, then as long as the attention is focused on them. So here's a question on a Sunday morning when we have meditation here. In between, when we do the 6 hour, and then after the 3 hour, we have breakfast. Breakfast time, I very specifically back up. People notice that? Mm-hmm. Am I the leader then?
Yes.
Always so.
Yes.
But people think, unless you are 100% so the center of attention, you're
But it
not the
doesn't
leader.
have anything to do with your behavior,
Exactly.
because you just demonstrated the yelling behavior for us. And then you've demonstrated the quiet behavior, and you are the leader. It has nothing to do with any of those things.
That's right. That's exactly right. Baba would come up, we would chant, and we would do, in the evening, we would chant the Shiva Mahimna, and prior to the Shiva Mahimna, we would chant this fast, fun chant. And Baba would come out and sit on his stoop, where he seat in the courtyard. The focus was not on him at all. He didn't want the focus on him at all. He wanted people to be chanting, focused on themselves, going in. Did that make him no longer the leader? No. Very important. People get so snookered by trappings. And so you have to take a look at each one of us. What is the goal we're looking for? What do we want? If all we want is to then become the center of attention, I'll tell you right now, you're in the wrong place. Why? Why is this the wrong place?
Because that's not the goal.
Because it's practice for all.
It's practice for all. And here, watch this. Small self, right here, right? This is small self. Okay? Center of attention. How many people's small self likes to be the center of attention? Okay, so small self, center of attention, right? Me, 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 I, me, 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 I, me, me, I.
That felt great.
I'm not ignored, I'm not ignored, I'm not ignored, I'm not ignored, right? Okay, so then you come to this place, and what happens? This. And what's that? What's this?
It's an opening
An opening?
to get past me and I.
And what happens here? We're now in the heart.
You see.
You're now in the heart. Where are you? Are you now the center of attention?
No.
No! No! Is anybody living in the heart the center of attention?
No.
No, why not?
There's no other.
There is no other. We're in pure subject. There is only us. It is pure. There is no center of attention. There's no me, 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 me. So, you have that experience, and people come here once. They have that experience, and by the time if they're lucky, they make it to the corner of Park Heights and Green Spring.
Something about that intersection.
And then, this is what happens. What happens?
They run.
They run. They didn't like it. They didn't. Who didn't like it?
recognize it. They
They-
didn't recognize it as them.
They didn't recognize it as something that they wanted. They didn't want this. They didn't like this. They wanted this, and they want what with this?
A beautiful this.
A beautiful me,
Yeah.
an enlightened small self. They want to be the leader. I am self-taught. I don't need a teacher. I don't need a leader. I am my own higher power. And where does that get me? In my little box, deluding myself. I, me, and then I'm pissed off that nobody's acknowledging my leadership skills. Pissed off that nobody's acknowledging how wonderful and great I am. And so, and I watched this a lot. And Baba used to always say, you have to have a strong mind, a strong ego, to get rid of your mind and your ego. And it's like I listened to that, and I'd sort of understand it, and they always talk about the coconut, and you have to crack the coconut, and the inside's the sweet, and it's got to be strong in order to get rid of it, and it was sort of understood. Now I really, really got it. If I am weak, if I have a weak ego, a weak mind that is committed to me and I, am I going to want not center of attention. No. Am I going to be able to let go of that in order to then be in whole? No. Very, very important. Huge. So, people will have this experience, and as you said, they won't recognize it. They won't recognize it for what it is. But more importantly, they don't like it. They won't like it. And you go, okay, see you later. And they do this, and they just want this affirmed. And that's it. And that is it. And is that going to get them really anywhere? No. No. Not at all according to what we're talking about, where we want to go. So, very, very important. So now, I do want to talk about on a more mundane level, but using this as the understanding, because this understanding of leaders who want to be I and me, and then attract people who also want I and me, and then everybody's adoring and hoping that they're going to eventually be adored and all that sort of stuff, and they don't want this. They don't want this. That's on every single level. It's not just in a spiritual arena. That's everywhere. You find that in business, academia, huge, huge in academia. Sports, we're on a team. How many of them are actually team players? How many of them really wanting to be selfless, not the center of attention? Most of them are here. And granted, there are ones that do. There are. But general rule. So now I'm going to come to, even though there are people here today that are in the class that are from other countries, because we have Sweden, right now England, South Africa, and Spain. America. What started last night at midnight?
Question.
Okay, so let's go to Congress. Are they this or this?
They're a family.
They're a family. They are a family. Are they team players?
No.
No. Are they individuals that each want to be the center of attention?
Yes.
Are they people that want to work together? Are they leaders that actually, and who are they supposed to be leading, by the way? Us! 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 They're leading us. Yes. And, so you know, we're paying for them. Are they sequestered at all? Are they furloughed?
No.
No. Did they lose any of their benefits? No. No. Okay? We did that. There are leaders. They're the people we elect and therefore follow. We are doing what they tell us to do. We allow, we agree, we everything. Are they looking out for us? Do they want, what's their goal? Are they doing a goal for a great whole country? What the heck? Are they selfless? Did any of them, and I don't know because I haven't kept total track, did any one of them offer lower my wages. Did anyone say that? Anyone? No. Okay. What do we have? We have a group of individuals, each being president of their high school class, coming together and thinking they're better than the other kids in the group. How many people went to a college where they found out they were so proud that they were the whatever in their high school, and then they showed up at college and found out everybody else was the same? That's what everybody else, they all come together, only they didn't get the memo. They each think that they're better than everybody else. Do they want to work together? No. Are they interested in the betterment of this country? No. So, I'd like to do a Foursquare with some of them. Let's do one with Obama. Okay? Go ahead. He's a leader. Is he a leader? He's a leader. Supposed to be a leader. We elected him. He's the leader. What would you say is the most apparent quality as the leader here?
Charismatic? Or
Does anyone feel him is charismatic? No. I have one.
Authority?
Authority, that's nice, but do people listen to him? Nobody's listening to him. So I wouldn't, as much as the position has authority, I'm not sure he has authority. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that's what I meant. I was just thought you were talking about what's the qualities of a natural leader.
No, I'm talking,
Or-
yeah,
sorry.
no, absolutely. No, we're talking actually personally to him. We're going to do a Foursquare
Sorry.
on him. No, that's fine.
He wants to be liked.
He's
That's
a
a pleaser.
yeah.
nice guy.
Nice guy, right?
Nice guy.
Also,
Rational? Yeah, rational,
Yeah.
reasonable, reasonable. Reasonable. Everyone knows that reference? Life of Brian. Okay, Monty Python. Okay, so nice guy, reasonable. Okay, opposite. Nice guy, opposite nice guy. Mean. What? Mean. Mean. Opposite of reasonable. Irrational. Negative of nice guy. Weak. Wimp. Weak. Negative of reasonable.
Irrational.
No, that's opposite. Yeah, there's a concrete, there's a,
Obtuse, I don't know.
cold.
Cold.
Yeah, cold, yeah, he did, yeah, there was a cold.
Aloof, detached.
Aloof. He
Aloof,
doesn't
aloof, aloof.
Aloof.
What?
I would say like legalistic.
Legalistic.
That's true too.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah, that's aloof, legalistic. Yeah, he's a lawyer. Positive of mean.
strong.
Forceful, right?
Yeah.
Right. Forceful, strong. Positive, irrational. Irrational.
It's not
Yeah,
creative.
yeah, it is creative. It can be creative, it can be, yeah. Yeah, creative.
Visionary.
Visionary.
Oh.
I like
Oh, it's supposed to be a positive.
Sort of force for change. or-
Yeah, well, that, yeah,
Forceful.
creative, that would be the
Creative.
creative, because they're already forceful and strong, so creative.
Independent.
What? Yeah, no, irrational is, yeah. All right, so here we have, he likes to hang out on the one side, right? Nice guy, reasonable. He looks weak and aloof and legalistic, doesn't he, most of the time?
Yes.
Totally. And so if you look at Fox News, what do they say about him?
He's weak.
He's weak. He's weak. He's cold and aloof, right?
Right.
Okay. Did they ever call him mean and irrational?
Well, they want to put devil horns on his head, so.
Right, but that's
So that's sort of-
no. Forceful and creative?
Never.
I have never heard that in regard to him. No matter whether they're even the on the left side. Never heard that. Anybody? No. Okay, so we got Obama. Okay. Next. I never pronounce him right. Boehner. Boehner, the bane of my existence. Boehner. All right. Go. What's he?
Obnoxious.
Obnoxious? Yeah, he's obnoxious. What?
Macho.
What did you say?
Deal maker.
Deal maker. Yeah, he sees himself.
Operator.
Operator. Yeah. Yeah, which is the same. Yeah. All right, so obnoxious. Operator. Okay, opposite of obnoxious.
Strong.
Pleasant.
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 We're gonna get to nice guy, aren't we?
Yes.
Pleasant. Opposite of operator.
Compromise.
Naive.
A compromiser.
Right.
Are we seeing this?
Yeah.
This is like huge. Okay. Positive of obnoxious.
Forceful.
Forceful.
Forceful. And positive of operator. Deal maker. Which is that back to creative. Are we're starting, this is like crazy. They're married. They're in a bad marriage, granted. Okay, negative of pleasant.
Obnoxious.
Negative of pleasant.
Oh,
Yeah, anxious,
Boring.
boring. Yeah, it could be boring, it can be,
insipid.
yeah.
Accommodative.
So what do we do for that one? Insipid or?
Insipid, you can put in, unctuous has a little bit, the oily. What else was it?
Obsequious.
Yeah,
that's
obsequious.
a good one.
That's definitely obsequious. Which I would say probably wouldn't that look like a lot for what people see Obama. He's obsequious. He bowed to somebody or something, and that was seen. Compromiser, negative.
Wishy-washy.
Yeah, wishy-washy. Okay, look what we've got. What do we have here? We're looking at these two guys. This is just these two guys. We need to do, what's the name,
McConnell.
McConnell. Okay, isn't he the other party player?
Yes.
He's the third
second.
in the trio, right? He's the party player, okay. All right, so who are the Democrats in the game?
That's, what's her name?
Pelosi?
Pelosi.
Is she even involved?
No.
No. No, is this, no, he's not, he's not involved. Okay, so McConnell. Okay. What's he? Rigid.
Confident.
I find him
Yeah.
extremely rigid. Really rigid. Agreed? Rigid?
Yes, yeah.
Like set. Set. Okay. All right. Anything else? He is rigid? Anything else? Any other characters? I think that's his, I mean, like, that's. All right. Opposite of rigid.
Flexible.
Flexible. Positive of rigid.
Strong.
Or determined. Determined.
Decisive.
Yeah. Decisive. Okay, and again, the negative of flexible. Wishy-washy. Okay, we have these three guys. They're all in a marriage. Three of them. They're all on, and supposedly we've got Obama as the leader, the main leader, but these guys are supposedly working. Are they trying to work together? No. Where are they? They're at odds with each other, so you get this sort of a thing of Obama on one side and Boehner and McConnell on the other. Is that how it's pretty much going?
Yeah.
Okay. And look at their four squares. Do they work well together? No. Are they a marriage made in small self heaven?
Yes.
They are perfect. We are involved in a perfect small self game. And because they're all committed leaders to be the center of attention and therefore to be their small selves, correct? They will not open it up and not be the center of attention. They won't open it up to the greater good. Any of them. Has any of them? Are they all committed to stay on their little ring around the rosy? And yet we follow them. Doesn't look too good for us. How do you break up a club or a team or an environment that's completely based on the Foursquare? I mean, they are totally, do you see, he's being one's being a nice guy and they're looking at him as weak. They're being, when Boehner does deal making and forceful, he's obnoxious operator. There's no way, nobody's looking at each other in any way beyond their Foursquare. Can you see that? They're all committed to their small self operating. They're all playing their part. And what are they designed to be doing as leaders? What is their job? Because these are the parts, they're playing their parts, and they're in a position of leading, and they're supposed to be leading a country. And their small selves are committed to being the leaders. Can you see that? Their small selves are the leaders. And therefore, they will not give up their small selves in order to rise above it. They're going to stay committed to their small self, and then everybody's going to just be butting heads. That's all that goes on. And until they, as a team or group, are more interested in the greater good, and they get off their individual part, and they get off this grid system, until that happens, we're just going to have business as usual. And the best that can happen in terms of handling what's going on in this country is that they'll just be, blanket cuts here, which are basically irrational cuts, aren't they?
Yeah, they basically said, we can't be adults, so we're just gonna put in this system to do the dirty work
That's right.
for us.
That's right. It's sort of like, I don't want to be the mean, irrational bad guy, so I'm not going to say we're going to cut this and we're going to cut that and we're going to cut this. I don't want to do that. And I don't want to be that. We're not going to do that. So what's going to happen is the computer
Right.
is going to be the mean bad guy
Hal.
to have
Yeah.
to cut and inappropriately do the cuts, and that those people that are doing that unwilling to be seen as mean, to seen as and irrational or obnoxious and operated, but just be forceful and creative and just get off the whole thing. They still want to be the center of attention. They still are committed to having you vote for them and liking them. And so, are they really interested in us?
Not at all.
Not at all. Not at all. And so, it ends up being bad government.
Lots of times being a politician and being a leader are contradictory values, and what gets you one doesn't get you the other.
Exactly.
So where do we go?
There has to be so we've have to come back to basics. We have to go back to what was this country built on in terms of, not the revolution, but in terms of actually being statesmen and not getting paid for doing statesman work. Because are they working? But we're paying them. We're supporting them. We're giving them the center of attention. They get to, they're not furloughed. They're not getting any cuts. They're not anything. They didn't do that. Is their health benefits in any way hindered? No. Their retirement? No. Nothing.
Their gym,
Their gym?
great gym deal.
Wow. I didn't want to hear that. So, this is the thing.
But it's getting worse. I mean, it's not
So?
going in the other direction.
No, it's not. So what has to happen?
Something a bit break.
There has to be a break, but at the very least, we have to be able to say, oh my God, they're not our leaders. I'm not following them anymore. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, what I was gonna say though too, like, this question kind of came up for me before. So like, if we follow leaders who aren't really leaders, well, that tells us about ourselves that we have those pieces.
Right.
And for me, like, control is one of those pieces.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the larger situation with this, with these leaders, then I guess at the very least, we all have an opportunity to see what it is that we hold on to.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then,
If we no longer put our attention on them, if we no longer feed them, if we withdraw out of them, that they're no longer the center of attention, what starts to happen?
well, in that sense then too, then they have maybe a different opportunity to see things in hopefully a different way. Because if you starve it, I mean, isn't that kind of what you're doing? You're kind of
Yeah,
starving
starving
it.
Right.
Then, at some point there will be a prime opportunity to see to where, to have a
Right.
break.
That's right, because as long as they're committed to this and everybody's supporting it and admiring it, then nothing's gonna happen, right? Yeah, they might not have this, but at least at the very least, we can get rid of them, maybe. We don't vote for them. And the other thing is you do grassroots. You start doing grassroots. You start figuring out things. You bypass them. How do you bypass? So that they're not doing the leading, how do we bypass? What can we do that would actually be for the greater good? That's a start. That's something to think about. But in terms of this whole thing of looking at a Foursquare, you start to see why we're caught. We're totally caught. They're committed to each other. They hire each other to do the side that the other one doesn't want. They're in a perfect relationship.
Well, in our small selves, I think, you want to say, it's hard to say, this is what I've got.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I've got. So then that would take you to grassroots or to figure, this is what I've got, so
What
this
do
is
I
getting
do?
cut.
Right.
How am I going to work? Instead we would like to complain.
Right, exactly. And we complain to whom? The people that aren't listening. We're complaining to the leader that isn't actually going to, no. All we're doing is showing the leader how important they are.
Right.
And there's then still the center of attention, and they still have the control, and they still have the power. Our job is to, what is in terms of sadhana, is to not be the center of attention. So we go in, we disentangle, and then the discerning happens from here of what's appropriate. And again, it goes to what's the greater good? What are we supposed to do in the greater sense? So it's not selfish. It's not that whole small self of me. We're no longer me. It just becomes us. But us does not then deny each individual's well-being. Because that's what somebody would say. If it's no longer about me anymore, then you're not interested in us as individuals.
But that's one of the things that is so cool about this, is that what is helpful for the leaders is so incredibly helpful for the followers. It in the sense that it works. You have the followers, pull away. They stop putting in the energy.
Right.
And then the leader, in that sense, is kind of starved in order to open up an opportunity for them. It works. It's totally balanced.
It helps the leader then it would help the leader, and it would also, each individual would be actually taking care of themselves. That makes, understand? But our job is to keep, okay, what do I need to be doing? What's appropriate? Use a wedge to get rid of the wedge, remember? Let go of all the I and the me. Come in, and no longer the center of attention. For each of us, for all of us, no matter what our position is. So it's all us. All us. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.